Today's episode is supported by the Kranzberg Arts Foundation. The Kranzberg Arts Foundation provides essential infrastructure and venues for creatives to thrive in St. Louis because the soul of a city is shaped by its arts. Go to KranzbergArtsFoundation.org to explore some of St. Louis's finest dance, art, music, and more in the amazing Grand Center neighborhood. Now, here's Coach Jin with today's Soccer Mom Sunday.
Good morning. Yes, that is the mood.
It's one of those days.
Current mood.
Yeah, you know this one?
I do now, yes. Let's just let that play. I'm going to drink my beer.
Yeah.
It's some kind of sour beer. It's getting me in the taste buds.
Can't do sours. My wife loves sours.
Thought I'd give it a shot. I don't know if I can make it through the whole thing, though, now. It's kind of getting me back there.
It's like a Miller Lite with a Jolly Rancher or something.
Like,
I don't like those.
It says like Warhead, so I'm going to try to get through it. Maybe it'll make me go slow.
There you go.
Because it's been that day. Well, so we're recording on Happy International. You're not going to on International Women's Day. It's at Women's History Month, and I wake up, and the first unhealthy thing to do in your day is to read a tweet or an X or whatever we call them now. And Catherine Batt, who I follow, just a reminder on this International Women's Day that we know where the 2030 Men's World Cup will be in essentially 2034, but we still don't know who will host the 2027 Women's World Cup. Well, hell. Good morning.
Do you have any suggestions?
Spicy. Pick a place. Let's go. I mean, the women just played in a monsoon recently. We can play anywhere.
Yeah, I think, to take this subject seriously, I think the previous World Cup, the location, the logistics, the timing of the television and everything else, that was not good for
that was rough.
American soccer fans. Because it's just, I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. It doesn't matter. So I think that was ill thought. And I know why they do it. It's a global game, and somebody padded pockets, down under.
I remember George getting up for Men's World Cup. I don't remember where they were, but at Dark 30, watching Men's World Cup, I don't remember again where they were.
Yeah, I think there's going to be people that will watch it regardless, 24 hours a day.
Sure.
But if you're going to try and grow the game, and there's this constant battle for women's sports in general to get TV time, that you can't have Twitter in real time telling you what the score is, and then people waking up for a video replay at noon the next day.
What do you think
it's just not going to happen.
Time zone is to pick then?
Well, I mean, follow the model. Just do the 3-nation, replicate exactly what we're doing in 26 with them. You already have the stadiums, you have everything.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, realistically,
we should book it.
I should make a phone call.
By the way, Gen Z's JV Anderson here, Soccer Mom Sunday. Good morning.
Morning.
At Mellow Mushroom Sunset Hills.
Yeah, I walked in today hungry. Bad idea.
Super bad idea. It's like going grocery shopping, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to either try something different today, or I'm just not going to order. I'll just have drinks and I'll not order a pizza. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to order a few.
So have
pizzas.
I think it's on Netflix, You Are What You Eat.
I don't want to watch that.
I didn't want to either, and my wife Kim has been putting it on, and I walked in here thinking, I'm going to be strong, and it's like, nope. I'm not going to be strong.
Pizza's good. I'll be a pizza.
Yeah, so the carnivore or veggie, today's a carnivore day.
Oh, only carnivore day. I don't believe in fruit or vegetables on pizza. It's weird.
Really?
And don't even order cheese. Like, what is that? Like, it already always has cheese. It already has cheese.
That's true.
My 8-year-old's like,
what
cheese.
What if it's the quattro formaggio, with its 4 kinds of cheeses?
That's fine. That's fine. But meat too.
Do your kids like stinky cheeses though? Or creamy cheeses?
For the most part, I think, for the most part. Like some weird, they don't really like care. There's a couple that care for Swiss or...
Swiss is not cheese.
Yeah, it's not. It's gross.
Swiss is like
George
edible
buys
cardboard.
it all the time. It's got holes in it for a reason.
Yeah,
It's bad.
Junk. It's not even whole,
We've
right?
digressed from World Cup to what you are, what you eat, and cheese is bad.
Well, so let's get back into U.S. women's soccer in particular, because I believe, a lot of games recently. The loss to Mexico 2-0 sent shivers down everybody's spine.
Played bad.
And then that junk game in the rain the other night against Canada in the goal. Help me out, goalie name.
Oh, Nair.
Yeah. Stops 3, makes 1.
Stud.
But should we be going to PKs against Canada?
I wouldn't know since it's not a real soccer game. Weather is the ultimate equalizer. It makes the worst goal go in, and it makes the best player look bad. It's just seeing them try to run and the ball stops. I remember those at Booter Park, and it was fun because then you can run in the puddles, and your mom's like, "No," and you're like, "Yes."
Well,
But, I'm not professional.
And it's not. And I saw people getting all pissed off, like, why are we treating the women this way? And in the same week, there was the MLS game where there's 3 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah, I went
and it's
straight
like,
down
come
to
on,
George.
Weather is not
because I was seeing
an issue.
Now I would have liked to have seen like maybe I didn't know squeegeeing a field wasn't, maybe that could have been done. Maybe you take a break and you let the rain come through. I don't know, but I did ask George. I went to him and said, "Hey." He knew what a move I was in. I was like, would the men play? He goes, they absolutely would play.
Yeah.
I've reffed games in that. They absolutely would play. I would have liked to maybe they could pause, try to clean up the field a little bit. But otherwise, we've played. My kids have played in it.
Well, I mean, like on the men's side.
Our next guest is like, we played in snowstorms.
Well, on the men's side, too, we are in CONCACAF. So when you watch these regional games, qualifying games, et cetera, and they go down to El Salvador or wherever, those pitches are not...
Oh, those are.
I mean, our public
great.
parks have better fields than their national stadium.
Yeah, so I think we get. I mean, for me, my generation, we played in everything. I think you played in everything. Maybe on the professional level, they pause a bit, they make TV wait. I don't know, but otherwise, I wasn't really too worked up. But it was fun, and at the same time, not soccer. Just a slugfest.
Yeah, well, they need wins. They need
For
to
sure, we'll take it.
They also have to, because this is the problem on the men's side too. They have to reestablish identity. Right now, they do not have an identity.
They don't have a style of play. We don't really know who they are.
They have infighting. They don't know what the North Star is anymore. Previously, they were the North Star.
That's right.
So that's another weird scenario to be in, because it's like when you are the goal, or you are the tip of the iceberg, whatever analogy you want to use, when you're not anymore, you have to ask yourself, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Where are we
identity
going?
crisis, and then figure out who you are and who do you put your team around, and who comes out of the team as leaders and the vocal pieces, and then who rallies the team. You're looking for, and we've had some of that age out. Some of them have self-selected out. So we're looking to see who kind of rallies them in the meantime.
Who's your favorite player right now? And then we can welcome our guest in.
Because I got to meet a few of them too. I think Crystal Dunn is just one of my favorites now, because and Neoma Gurma. Gurma is just phenomenal.
What about Rose?
Oh, yeah. She wasn't there. I got to party with her parents, but she wasn't there. So, I mean, I'm sure she's a whole lot of fun. Sam Coffey, another, again, I got to meet the people.
Rodman?
And, yeah, I think she's a badass. I would, the moments of grit she has, I'd like to have more of those moments of grit.
Well, let me reframe real quickly. An identity. Like if you had to pick one of the current batch, who would you want on the face of the quarter for the women's national team right now?
Am I if I say Sauerbrunn, is that bad? Just because I know she's struggling through injury right now, but I think if she finds herself, I don't know if she'll be able to play with them again, but her way of approaching the team, her way of being as kind of a steady Eddie, but not afraid to speak out. But didn't put herself or her identity before the game, I think is something that they could definitely use to rally around. That kind of steady Eddie, but not afraid to get at it.
Okay.
And maybe she's St. Louis too, so.
There's no grade. There's no pass or fail here. It's just a question.
So I have a question for you. Did you ever use Teamsnap?
Daily.
Yeah, okay. So, the Teamsnap Live, the game's going on. Hey, you get a notification, your kid's game. Did you guys ever do that? And
No,
somebody
we didn't
updates
do
the
that.
score. Whoa, okay. That was an assignment.
But you got to understand, I turn notifications off on all
Okay.
of my apps.
Well, that and maybe your tweet, your text messages too, because you don't respond.
No, I'm not quick. I own that. I totally own that.
I
and
usually
apologize.
I respond to it. I'm like, I'm gonna bump it up. His.
But I'm so thankful that Apple invented the mark unread
Yes.
functionality, so it saved me big time.
So we used Teamsnap for Oakville United. We didn't have a messaging, we didn't have any built-in kind of system. So we got onto Teamsnap. We did the club thing, and we had like 8 teams at one time, and I was the admin. So I was like, we're going to use its functionality. In fact, I'm going to have weekly conference calls with Teamsnap to make sure they're doing what we want them to do. So each team, I could taught like the parents what to do, notifications, calendars, all these fun things. And some of the teams really grabbed onto the Teamsnap Live, and they would do updates. And then I got really picky because I would open it and I'd just say that either the goal update, or I'd see highlights that were just like, so-and-so scored, so-and-so scored, so-and-so scored. And my kids would see that and be like, hey, more happened in the game than that. So I would tell the parents, hey, really awesome that you guys update Teamsnap. That's super great. Everybody loves it. Can we put a little bit more color in there? Like a little bit about the play.
Is that the radio in you?
That and the highlight isn't just the goal, right? Sometimes the goal is the worst thing of the play. You just stuck a toe out, but like everything that happened before then, which requires parents to get knowledgeable about the game, which sometimes they're not. But then some parents take it to the next level, and that is our guest today, who then you open it up as your team is warming up, because it comes as a notification, and you not only get the day, the time, the temperature, you get a sponsorship. The game is brought to you by X. I don't know if we ever got paid on that, but Betsy Birkenmeier Hanak was one of 2 moms. Say hello.
Hello there.
who would open this up, and it was, I would have to, I'm like, okay, I can't read this right now. Read this after the game. You try to coach this game, and they were the most hilarious updates. And I think it was because I was like, hey, everybody, can we like do a little bit more than just the goals? And you were like, I will see you one, and I will up the ante.
Absolutely. We embrace crazy. We do. So essentially, your career kind of, I started it, right?
Oh, which
Like,
which
right?
part?
The color commentary.
The color commentary. Yes.
Yes.
Brought to you by, and so George tries to replicate Betsy, and it's not the same. He does a pretty good job, but sometimes the teams are like, what do you mean the game's sponsored by?
George
It's
is
not
just
funny."
providing referee
He
updates.
does. It was a foul on everybody but my kid. That's what George does. So you guys would bring those updates, brought to you by, if it was a wet game, brought to you by your
If we were
umbrella,
having
tote umbrella.
beverages, it was brought to you by-
Maybe there'd be a passive aggressive, brought to you by, this tournament is a Mother's Day tournament, and we're all having to sit at soccer games.
And it's hot.
And it's
cold.
hot.
And it's...
You guys were
What-
fine when you did your mimosa Bloody Mary,
Oh, we had
Bloody
a
Mary
good time.
bar.
We had a good time. And I think the strength of any team is the mom standing on the sideline. So here we go.
For sure. And on that one day, just leave us the hell alone and go ahead and play your game and give me your rose. But it's Mother's Day, assholes.
And I'm sure there was a commentary about that.
They did keep it relatively G-rated, knowing the kids would go back and kind of take a look at what would happen. But it was hilarious. Best Teamsnap updater, you and Michelle Romano.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yes.
You guys were
And we
good.
do try to continue that. You know, my daughter's basketball team does use that, so I do take it upon myself as the experienced team snapper to make sure we do updates. But in a gym for basketball, the weather is not necessarily the factor, but we do still have sponsors and...
Who's your favorite sponsor? Like, what's your most creative? Do you remember?
Typically, it is whatever I'm drinking.
Yeah,
for the
Gatorade
moment.
did one, I know.
So we've had Folgers coffee, we've had Bud Light, AB, mostly.
Soccer Dad Pod or Soccer Mom
Today's
Sunday can get a
irritation is
sponsorship.
brought to you by Ambien.
So typically it was something like that. Today's sponsor is by Adidas, who then happened to be the uniforms of. We found whatever. We found whatever.
Well, I mean, we joke about it, but the reality is, like, with these apps now, like, communicating your child's sport via these apps, it's legitimately like every team has that person. Like, you're just waiting for the updates. Because
Well,
I'm never going to be that person,
The
right?
problem
No, I
was
don't
when
update it.
Jen coached this team, she asked
That was
for
the problem.
people
Me
to-
coaching the team.
She asked for people to take the pictures. That's not me. She asked for people to be the organizer. That's not me. She asked for people to, I don't know if there was like a snack or anything. That
No,
was
I didn't do snacks
so
at
not
all.
me.
We didn't do any of that.
But
No.
what could I
Oranges.
do?
Bring your own stuff.
I can make witty and inappropriate comments.
Yeah.
And so that was something
Innuendo. It was a very clever innuendo.
So that's what I could do.
And and maybe comment on the call, like it'd be like, and it's brought to you by a bullshit call. by the
Absolutely,
referee.
because I know enough of the game. I knew enough of all the games, and I knew enough of how the players played and everything else to, I don't know, give some actual comments. But, clearly the personality is what brings it out.
Besides being a Teamsnap aficionado, Betsy, I know, so slightly competitive, just a hair.
Slightly.
A hair. But I wanted to go back because I don't know if you and I have even talked about this. You're a sporty person. Your husband's a sporty person. You've got 3 kids. But before that, what was Betsy as a kid, like player? Soccer player? Any player? Athlete?
So I was an everything player. So I grew up in grade school, played club
Where at?
basketball.
'Cause you're a St.
So I
Louisan.
have been in St. Louis, South County my entire life.
Okay.
Went to Assumption.
Southie?
And
A Southie?
Yeah, Southie.
Definitely a Southie.
He's from Granite City. He doesn't know.
I'm an Easter.
We'll help you. So
Oh,
I'm
I'm there. Don't worry about it.
Went to Assumption Catholic School for grade school. Played all the CYC sports, but then also did club volleyball, club basketball, and club soccer. So did that through grade school, and then my focus became more the basketball, volleyball route as I moved on. So then we went to Nerix Hall High School, and then I went to Truman State for college.
Did you play in college also?
I had a desire to, but then injury prevented me to. So
yeah.
I played intramurals,
Okay.
which was a wonderful, wonderful thing.
I have
So
great things about intramurals.
I was able to re-love the games and went back to almost playing like CYC all over again, but back in college. So then, push forward, I coach.
Yeah.
That's how I relive it now.
Well, and you have 3 kids with your
3
husband,
kids.
Tim Hanak.
That's right.
And if you were with the Hanak boy, they are soccer. Nothing but soccer for the most part.
Absolutely.
Ish.
Played
Ish.
bastle,
They
played
like hockey.
all of that
They
stuff.
like
but
all that.
it is definitely a soccer.
They're soccer boys for
Family.
sure. And so so Ava is for JB's efficacy is my daughter's age, Marin.
Right.
So they're the same age. I got to coach Ava, and then Tyler and Liam are the same age, and then
There's Mia. Mia is a 5th grader. She's a
5th grader.
2013.
Okay, so there's a little gap, and then Harper's a 2nd
Yeah.
grader, and Mia's spicy,
Mia-
and awesome.
As you were talking about the favorite soccer players, I sat there and thinking in my mind, I have one of several of the players on the women's national team. I have a Sauerbrunn. I have an old school like Julie Ertz. I have
Okay,
a
wait,
Rose.
who's that? Who's that?
So the Julie Ertz is my Tyler.
Okay.
Kind of the sit back is the playmaker.
Okay.
I've got the Trinity Rodman, and that's the Mia, the spice, the flair. You've got a little bit of the Lindsay Horan, and that's the Ava. That's the playmaker, but also the scorer, the push the ball forward, kind of that
Yep.
overall physical. I've got a combination.
Then
the
Ava's
women's team.
changed a little bit. She wasn't particularly a overly physical player when
Yeah,
she
she was
younger.
little.
Then
Yeah.
she grew up and she's like, listen, I'm not
Listen.
gonna be pushed around anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your kids played. So Ava played. I know you guys played at SMMA.
Yep.
Still at SMMA and Queen and all those. We're still battling it out with Queen of all sports.
It's a definite battle.
in St. Catherine.
St. Margaret Mary and Queen, I think it was, at least for Mia's age, South County finals
Oh my
for soccer,
God.
South
All
County finals
the
for
time.
basketball. And
All the
so
tournaments too that the different schools would
Absolutely.
have.
That's
and
a
then
great program.
Club wise, Tyler's always been at Gallagher, right?
Mia and Tyler have always been at Gallagher.
Mia too. Okay.
So Ava being my guinea pig child,
Yep.
when she
Gotta
first
start
started,
somewhere.
she's a 2008. When she first started, she knew nobody that played club soccer because everybody of her friends was a 2009.
Oh, right.
So
Her
then
team, her
she
SMA team was
moved
young.
over and started at Oakville United because her cousin
That's
was
right.
playing
She
there.
and Sav.
So her and Sav were just excited. Savannah is a school year older, so she's a sophomore now.
Yeah.
But my wonderful niece and Ava wanted to play together. So it was that perfect segue into Oakville United and for us into club sports.
That's right. And then I suckered your husband into helping coach, which was great. Take the girls and go do stuff.
That's right.
And so here you guys are. And afterwards, you've got Ava tried out. Did she try out for high school?
So Ava did. Ava's on the JV team over at Narix Hall.
Hey,
so she's super excited, and that is...
That just, at the time of this recording, the news is relatively new this week, right?
They just,
made it.
maybe Monday or Tuesday. I don't know what day it is today. I think it's Friday. But so, Monday or Tuesday or even maybe Wednesday. I don't know. It was a little late. But, she was super thrilled. She has goal in mind, and kid's been working hard.
So was Narix on the short list because of the school exclusively, or did soccer come into play with the quality of that program?
I was a marker myself, so I went to Narix, and so not that was the determining factor. I laid off on Ava until when she was probably in 7th grade because I wanted her to make that decision. She didn't need to follow my path. However, when she did, I will say, it's been fun. Yes, but also the soccer path was important as well. I've tried to encourage my kids. We're not picking a school based off of the program. Coaches change, programs change, people age in out. So I didn't want her to pick Narix because of that. But so she toured a bunch of different other private high schools, and that was the one that felt at home to her. Thankfully, because we do have Narix apparel already, so it kind of helped. I did not say no to her when she said that she wanted to go there.
From a rivalry standpoint, which was blacklisted? Because I know how this goes too. There are no-go schools. Can you name them?
Don't even think about it.
Yeah, they're back in my Narix days.
How about this? I'll say the names. You nod your head. St. Joe.
No. It was probably Ursuline, Narix and Ursuline.
Okay.
We just fought. There was the big knee pad game, or there was the big golden Nike shoe game for basketball, and everybody went, and we just hated Ursuline. And they have a great school and a great program.
Sorry, Jen Brooks.
Yeah, and
Rivalry
so many
is good.
of Ava's best friends go there, but it was in my day. Now they're all different.
Yeah,
I went there just 10 years ago.
I feel like
15,
that when
million years ago.
When I was graduating 8th grade from St. Paul, I feel like most of the class went to Coriezu. I feel like it was the natural step from St. Paul at the time was Coriezu. I'm sure it wasn't, but
and that was a big number of Ava's class did go to Ursuline.
Okay.
And so there was all over the place,
But she's used to standing out. She went to Oakville United when many of them went to 09 Gallagher.
That's right. Yeah. She's not afraid to be kind of, her own person.
And she is currently, so I know the team that she did moved to STL Development Academy.
Yep.
Still there?
So she ended up, after she left Oakville United, when we couldn't transition to that 11v11, she went over to Sporting, which is now St. Louis Developmental Academy. Again, kind of her rogue herself, went off in her own direction. Did great there, and then their team with different elements moved over and played this past fall season over at Lufuse.
Oh, they are at Fuse. I didn't know that.
So she's over at Lufuse.
Same coaches and stuff? Just
their coach just moved clubs.
Okay, got it.
So her path then, club-wise, would you see it as being overall fun / positive / a development ad from going from club to club, leaning into Narix, or was it kind of situational, maybe unique to her, being, I'm just going to try new things? How much of it was truly soccer, and how much of it was just kind of organic?
I mean, that's a great question. It's kind of both. It was her. She would have stayed with Oakville United forever. That group of girls, they all still. They see each other now. They still all talk. They could still all hang together like if it wasn't else. So her move from Oakville United was definitely more situational.
Yeah.
The move then trying to pick where to go after that was a combination of a lot of things. Her desire to play with people that she somewhat knew, her desire to then also, play a different position, be able to be in a place where it could move up. Ava is my kid that she takes it very seriously.
Firstborn.
She is my kid that, comes home and she's still working outside. So she's that kid that, so it is a social aspect, but it is also very much of where can she see herself going after that.
Got it.
Is playing beyond college something Ava already knows she wants to do?
She's definitely talked about that.
And Becky Sauerbrunn, by the way, is Ava's absolute love of
favorite
her life
person in the world.
When I was with the U.S. Women's National Team, I took a picture with Becky. I was like, I have a player. I want to send it to her. And then I've always felt bad because I was like, oh, you're not here. But I know she loves her.
She loves her
pieces.
Yeah, we have jerseys hanging. We've had a fantastic connection with a friend of ours who played club soccer with Sauerbrunn. So Sauerbrunn sent Ava a video message on her birthday saying happy birthday, and so it just made the love
awesome.
One of those personal cameos.
No, it was not even a had to pay for cameo.
Oh, I love those.
She got a jersey, I think, too, signed,
gotten
right?
jerseys. We had to do the famous Missourian project back in grade school, and Ava did Sauerbrunn, and Sauerbrunn sent a jersey and a ripped out page from a notebook and wrote a letter, and that's hanging in Ava's room.
Yeah, I got to know, why does she love Becky? I mean, besides being a fabulous soccer
because
player.
we are not defenders. Like, Ava has never
We are not defenders.
defense, ever. And I think it was more just appreciate the dedication to your craft. And that's something that we've always, Tim and I being athletes, me not necessarily soccer, but a dedication to our craft is, I think, what has led us to the Sauerbrunn route, is because you see Sauerbrunn and
she's a hard worker.
Dedication to the craft. So
how much of that would you assume or would you attribute to just, we're all 314 homers, whether we're north side, south side. She's one of ours too.
She is one of
These
ours.
kids, they get that because like on the boys' side, to a large degree, Tim Ream, Josh Sargent.
Yep.
Right. You ask a kid locally, who's your favorite player in the world? There's Messi, there's Ronaldo, but then there's Josh Sargent.
Yep.
Because they recognize them. Does Sauerbrunn have that advantage with a lot of our
Absolutely.
girl market?
I think it's cool to see that, our girls here in St. Louis can become that. They can become a face of a program. They can become the captain of the women's national team here from St. Louis, growing up in Ladue, growing up in South County and Oakville. We can achieve that. And I think that's definitely a big part of Ava's infatuation with Sauerbrunn.
For sure.
Again, we're not center backs.
Right.
Ava,
What about the next wave? What about an individual like an Alex Pfeiffer?
and I know my youngest, so my youngest
She's
right
an
now
Oakville girl
is
too.
10.
She was
and
right around with us.
We definitely look at, those people that the Alex Pfeiffers of the world, and not a St. Louis person, but the Jaden Shaws of the world on the team, those young players who these kids can look up to and they could see as something that's important, and to hear their backstory that this wasn't something that was just easy. The work that came into it, listening to your conversation that you guys had with Alex Pfeiffer, hearing the work that goes into it.
Right.
It's the sacrifice. It's the not just going to practice, but it's going to practice and coming home and doing this, on your off time. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, there's a whole other layer. And it's all mental, right,
Yep.
Jen?
It is all mental.
Mental, and then, getting yourself sometimes to do the physical when the physical, you don't want to do the physical. You're tired.
Hear that every day?
Yeah.
Hanak House. Hear that every day.
And you have a basement,
I do.
and it is it still training?
It is.
Okay.
It
Is it
is.
changed? It's been a while since I've been there. We went into the training portion.
Yeah. So, so
remember Estella, who was on our we recorded last, was like, I want my basement back. You're never going to get it back in the Hanak.
No.
It is a training basement.
So the poor Hanak children don't have life easy. They'll tell you that. They know that soccer practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
whatever.
But then there's
the days.
also the home practice. We are very fortunate with the resources that my husband and I have, having played, having coached with, having met in our sports relationships, a variety of different people who have offered various programs of interest. My husband played up at Dominican University, and so he is still good friends with the women's coach up there.
Okay.
And so we got the running program that they do, and the off-season program. And so the Hanak children get to participate.
They get to.
They get to. And so, they run a mile every day, fast mile, and the grunts and moans, and they've long ago learned that, Mom, they don't get out of that.
Who's the one? There's always I feel like there's in a group. There's always one that does a little extra and one that's going to cut the corner. That's like I'm good. I did it all.
So she knows who I'm going to say right now, and Ava's going to be my one that does it because she's my pleaser. She's the oldest.
She totally
right?
is a pleaser. Yeah,
And
sweet girl.
Mia sees the cone and is going to
listen.
stop 5 feet before.
Listen, I've done it. She's like, I did it.
She gets it. And Ty will sit there and keep doing it too.
Yeah.
But there's the cone cutter. There's
always a cone
looking
cutter.
over your shoulder and seeing if mom and dad are watching.
It's like, listen, I've done it. I'm good.
Yep. So the basement is still, it has different sizes of boxes.
I'm going to need a picture for the collage of
Absolutely.
this. I need a picture of the training
elastic
basement.
bands. It has the different things because they are used. Yes, crazy. He's looking over here like crazy.
Set the cameras up. It's a TikTok channel.
It
It is what it is.
It is embraced. But the sound would have to be off.
Yeah.
Whose sound?
My sound.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I had a video like that once when
Are-
I taped Georgie playing kindergarten soccer for George, who was gone refereeing somebody, and he was watching it on mute. And I was like, "Why are you watching it on mute?" He's like, "Hey, Georgie, can you go get me somebody unmuted?" And I'm like, "What the hell is he doing?" He's like, "Yeah, we have to watch it on mute.
Yeah,
You forgot that it was recording your audio."
You might
He was
need to
5.
speak with someone.
I got into this side of the business because I'm crazy.
Well,
we are.
no,
That's right.
you know what? Great segue. You have 3 kids that are competitive, that they're thriving, challenging themselves. You and your husband were both apparently uber competitive.
A little bit. Yep.
In today's environment, with the kind of all the peripheral stresses that go along with just trying to perform, how do you guys as a couple kind of approach it, being cognizant of we can't cross that line. We can't be those parents. Do you talk about it? Is it something that's up front? Is it something that you're learning? Where does that come into play?
So all the above. It's definitely something that we're learning. It's definitely something that we work on. But and sitting next to Jen is an interesting thing because that mental part is a big part. When the kids were little, they did every single activity under the sun, dance, gymnastics, and everything.
God,
and
I forgot when they were dance.
Dance and
forgot.
gymnastics and all of that. And we started that mental approach early on. And we constantly still do this now. We would ask them to rank order their activities to make sure that what we're still putting them in is something that they want to do, because we all know the expense of these activities.
And the calendar can only hold so many things.
Can only
Right.
hold so many things. So back in the day, you would say to each of your kids, you guys are doing this, and this. What's number 1 for you? What's number 2? What's number 3? And then those things that were the 5 and 6, those were the things that we realized, okay,
They can go.
they can go. Okay. So there was those conversational pieces. There was the conversational pieces of, I know that if this is not something that you're willing to work on, is this just a activity, hobby for you?
Right.
And then also, there's those conversations that Tim and I are still trying to figure out. The mental part is so much more. Back when we played, I remember a separate club basketball season, a separate club volleyball season, and a separate club
A start date,
soccer
an end date.
season. It didn't all merge together, and I rarely remember the conflicts of having to choose.
Maybe like a
anymore.
week or two.
Yeah,
as they
it was a little
overlapped.
bit.
Yeah,
It was a little bit.
the reality is now we have the year of sport.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a matter of dipping and dodging in calendars and choice.
And choice.
And
to sit there and try and figure out, for my kids, what their passion is and what they love and how much is too much and
Yeah.
what is something we need to back off on and where their mental framework is. That has been a learning approach. And that's how, I started listening to some of the podcasts in the first place, because each of my children respond to criticism, critique in various different ways. There's the shutdown mode, there's the listen and nod my head mode, and then there's the crying mode that comes along, and everybody responds differently. So Tim and I as parents, with our own knowledge and our own expertise, have tried to figure out the best way. So we do the 5 minutes, try and keep our conversations in the car to 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's not always easy. That's hard, especially when the conversations could dictate
Yeah.
well more
Right.
than 5 minutes. But yeah, that's been a struggle. So yes, we are still learning, but we do try to keep the kids is very much a forefront of it. Problem solving with them, and which leads to a lot of what we do on the side when they come off and say, "Man, my problem has been my shot." Then me as the problem solver, I'm looking at what we could do to make that better.
What do we need for the basement?
What do we need for the basement? One of our good friends, Corey, has taken both of my girls and works with them privately on the side. And as much as I wish it was something we could do at home, me yelling at them in the backyard or me yelling at them at the basement or something, it sometimes takes a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's
yeah.
something to that in so much that they have to have something that is theirs, including the part of the process that is the extra, the work, the shooting training, or whatever it is, because if we are the ones pushing it on them or trying to do it in the backyard or in the basement or whatever, I just think that that Venn diagram of here's our happy household and here's your athletic world, it gets overlapped too much.
It absolutely does. I always say I wish there was those days. We have so many peaks and valleys of performance days, energy levels, everything else. And I've said before, I wish there was just one day when all 3 Hanak children were on that peak,
yeah.
Because it always seems that one's here, one's somewhere in the middle, one's down at the bottom, and we're trying to play that nice roller coaster ride game of how's everybody doing. But then a wonderful other mother said, well, there could then be those days where all 3 Hanak children are at the bottom.
Yeah.
And that would be, thankfully that hasn't happened, but
yeah, where they all struggle, and to realize that there's life on the other side of the struggle if we let them.
It's hard.
And it's hard. It's hard to let them struggle.
So I've been banking this question for a while, and I think this is perfect. I'm going to pose it to both of you at the same time and chime in whoever wants to go first. Because I have this building theory in my head pertaining to body language. And watching kids play and watch them train and watch them walk onto the field or off the field after a game. And I've tried to personally be really cognizant with my own kids, how do they look? Not what they're saying, not what they're doing, not what they're executing. And I feel like, and I hate to be kind of male-female on this thing, but I think women probably are much better at this in reading their own children's body language. Do you notice that?
So in my house, Tim is much better at that than I am. And I think it's because I'm the one, I've got this schedule, I think we should do this. And I'm, again, the problem solver. If I see something's not right, I try to fix it. I'm the fixer.
Okay.
He's the better one in our house of saying, you see her? She needs the break. And at one point, my youngest, Mia, was playing club basketball 4 days a week. Then I'm putting her through all of the basketball stuff, and then she's going and playing soccer 4 days a week, and there's only 7 days a week, and there's everything else. And he's the better one of reading their body language and deciding we need a break. We need to back off a bit. You could see that as they're going onto the field, onto the court, onto anything. It doesn't seem right. Something needs to get pulled back. He's better at that than I am. He's definitely the much. The kids would say he's the more compassionate one. Do you see that?
What about you, Jen?
He reads it better.
Because I think you clearly are an alpha as well when it comes to sport and your kids.
For sure.
And you often talk about the difference between boys and girls, specifically on the girls' side, when they're cycling and all these other things that occur in these teen ages.
Yeah.
How do you see the same thing, and how do you approach it?
I would say, and I think George would agree with me, that I'm probably the better read on just watching posture or watching how they get up and how they're listening to how they're speaking and being something's off or on. I think he actually does a pretty good job too, but I think overall that's probably me. The key part for me is to and then I still figure out sometimes is when to jump in. Sometimes they have to just sit in their shit. They woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and you still have to play your game. And
that's a bumper sticker.
You just have to sit in it. You had a shitty game, and I remember there was this mom who I was coaching the kid, and I don't remember which particular one it was, but super upset, and she was like, I don't know what to do. She's in the car crying when she loses. I'm like, let her cry. It's fine. The crying never hurt anybody. Let her be pissed off. Let her be cry. And do me one better. Don't fix it. She'll be okay. Like,
let her
be
figure
there,
out her priority.
Let her talk to you. Let her go get, like, what did Kelly Nelson? Go get food. Go meet their basic needs and let them work through it. And I think sometimes there are times when I step in, like I get ready to fix it, and it's like, step out. They really don't need me right now. They really don't. Because I'm also a fixer. And I'm like, who needs to be beat up right now? And they're like, Mom. And I'm like, okay, I'm just checking.
Well, I think that is like, because I'm the oldest of three, right? I tend to be, I wouldn't say alpha, like within
I'm the oldest of four.
But it's like, I don't like
oldest, out of curiosity?
Middle child.
Okay.
I don't like there being issues. I want to fix it.
Well, let's go.
And I've really tried hard to let her breathe.
Yeah. That's a nicer way to say sit in your shit.
Yeah, sit in your shit.
It's a nicer way.
I bet yours would sell better.
Sit in your shit.
Yeah, that's a total Forrest Gump moment. I'm down with that.
I wanted to ask you too, because before JB goes there, high school. So was that ever an issue for Ava wanting to play in club? And I mean, sometimes it's team dependent, club dependent.
So Ava always had the desire to play Narix Hall soccer.
Yeah.
Once she made that decision, I
think when kids are soccer players and they go to Narix, they're going to
play.
Narix, yeah.
I think that it was always the mentality for her. We've been going to those games ever since. I mean, she's been young, and I've been taking her to the games. And I think just seeing that pride in your own school, knowing that for her, her skills, her leadership, her desire is going to help that. I don't know if she would have felt comfortable sitting back and watching somebody else doing it, cheering,
right?
But then allowing it to be out of her hands. She has wanted to be part of that program. Probably, long ago, before she even sent in her application.
She listened to the Lauren Seppi episode?
She did. Yes, she did. But she definitely, it was never even a consideration for her. She knew she was going to play high school soccer.
This is happening.
But, we're also at a program that's
an easy decision to make.
It is an easy decision to make. It's not a program that has been lacking.
Sure.
It's a program that she knows she can step into and be a contributor.
It's got legacy.
Well, okay, so I love this too. I'm going to pose this to both of you because obviously your daughter is in the Kirkwood program. Let's call spade a spade. That program is not Narix.
It's different, for sure.
In the debate that I have, behind the curtain with others, that's what I'll call them, is this idea of defining the culture or what these kids want for your daughters in particular. Is it? Let me put it this way: is their interest within the game, within the camaraderie, within soccer as a generic term, is it growing at an accelerated pace via club, via Instagram, via their camps, to where high school as critical as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago? And specifically what I'm talking about is, what are they truly desiring? Are they desiring the camaraderie, or are they desiring a geographical experience with peers?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. And I think for Ava, Ava knows that, seeing myself, seeing my husband, any sport can be over tomorrow, right? You can sit there and have this great desire that I am going to be on the national team, I'm going to play professionally, and one wrong thing, even unrelated to soccer, can end that. And so I think for her, that decision to play high school was definitely about the camaraderie, and her continuation to play has been a large part of that. Don't get me wrong, she's incredibly serious about it, but I do think that, when she thinks about it, she realizes that soccer is only going to take her so far, and that there has to be another plan behind it. She's also very studious. She already kind of has her mindset that when she goes to college, she wants to do this and this all at the same time, if that allows.
Yeah. I would say it's such a great question, because back in the day, I think it was a part, playing high school and playing club was a part of your overall soccer experience. It was part of being a well-rounded player. You did both. And I'm not going to make people happy. You don't have to do it. And so I say this because Marin is currently They left for yesterday. She's about to kick off. My phone's going to start going beep, beep, beep from Group Me text updates.
Teamsnap updates.
Yeah, Group Me this time. And they're kicking off for Champions Cup, and she is a freshman. She did come home this week, and she's like, yeah, there's somebody who made whatever, a freshman who made varsity, and I could have done that. I'm like, how do you feel about that? And she's like, I'm good. I'm over it. I'm like, okay. And I'm just trying to be a mirror. Like, how do you feel about that? So her little competitive nature is there because she's at her school.
Yep.
But she decided this year, I want to be, especially with the sophomores on her team that are itching for their scholarship offers, which I can't believe we're still sophomore year, but whatever. She was not apologetic about saying, I'm not playing high school my freshman year. I want to be at Champions Cup with my team.
Well, and I'd love to get your guys' opinion on this because it's like, I hear the argument being made that it's like, well, you're taking away an experience from these kids.
I didn't take anything away from her. She decided.
And I'm like, well, wait a second, though. These kids, if they are not doing it, even if they're on a lower level, quote, academy team, right? And maybe they're losing the majority of the time, whatever that scenario is, they are still with 18 individuals 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, traveling to faraway places, in the hotel rooms, on the sidelines, watching these other teams. They're part of a different culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Choose your experience, right?
Choose your experience.
Like Alex Pfeiffer talked about, she chose to miss the dance because she chooses that her game the next day is not going to be
practice.
Okay, for practice.
She missed it for practice.
I forgot about that.
And so that's again that choose your experience. What's meaningful to you, you know? And I know that, like for myself, for my children, the game is important, but that's not going to be their defining.
Right.
And you choose your pain too, right? Like there's crazy people who go do wackadoodle marathons. I don't want to do that. No, thank you.
I don't trust those people.
But you choose your sacrifice, you choose your pain, and you choose your joy. And I think Marins would have a great time in high school. She would have the best time. But she's choosing this joy right now. And who be it for me or another coach or anybody else to tell her she's doing it wrong? There's no wrong. There really isn't.
Yeah.
There is no wrong.
Quick shout out because Coach Hanak, I think he nails it. I think he does a great job of balancing it over at Narings and Vianney on the boys' side because he's so cognizant of that choice. Choose your path. Yeah. So kudos to him.
And to be supportive of that. I mean, I just got off. Who was I talking with? I was talking with Kevin Whalen on his podcast, Whale Certified.
The Whale.
Yeah, the Whale. And but to say, I expect the coach on the club side, I get it. I know you're going for something big, and it hurts when your player's not going to be there. But to say, we're going to miss you, send me your schedule so I can come see you play. And on the high school side, we're going to miss you. Hope you're back next year. Send me your schedule. I want to watch you play. That's all we got to do, I think.
Well, so I noticed this the other day because obviously almost on a daily basis, you see this too, where college announcements are coming out. Kids are committing,
Absolutely.
Boys and girls across the board. Have you noticed how few high schools are actually participating in retweeting or reposting or sharing when their students, right, sign?
Do you mean student athletes or just students in general?
When a soccer player is signing, the majority of the time they're referencing their club, like, hey, I'm at Lou Hughes, I just signed to Iowa. Right? Well, that girl went and does go to a high school and play high school soccer. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of been tracking
That's interesting.
the high schools that are involved. They're not like, are you really advocating for the student athlete? Or are you just kind of irritated that it wasn't your crest?
Well, and there's also, just from knowing, there's a Facebook Kirkwood parent group, like, did you see the fireworks or whatever, kind of a parent group, but that sometimes it's...
Is it as toxic as Nextdoor?
I don't think so.
That'd be great.
But there's sometimes an occasional, I know, irritation in that group is like, how come schools are only, showing pictures of athlete signings? What about the kid who just decides not to sign as an athlete, but to go on to this school and that school? So I wonder, I'm tossing that out as maybe, my oldest, George, is not going to go on and play. I still don't know what he's going to do, but he's not going to go play soccer. And him still, choosing to go to wherever is as important as wherever Marin decides to go to, which will be probably for soccer. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's that. I'm just thinking out loud.
I'm with you.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. The kudos will usually go to club, and they spend to be. Even Coach Guns was on there. I got him for a finite period of time. I got like 3 months to work with this athlete. You're with the club for all the other months, as we know, because there's no season.
11
all the other
and a half months.
I mean, isn't that just a really small, simple, free, non-time-consuming thing that these coaches could do? That if you really were about supporting the student athlete, why wouldn't you celebrate one of your students, one of your potential players or players when they do sign to go play college?
It's interesting. I wonder what the answer would be. Is maybe they're not supposed to, or it's not the focus because there's more than an athlete at the school, obviously. I mean, my big guy now is like acting and singing, so I don't know. It wouldn't bother me either way, but if you're on that side of why... I remember, like, I was on my senior year was on, like, the very beginning of when people started taking pictures for the school newspaper of somebody signing, and I didn't get one. I don't remember why, but it was not a big deal.
You know what we were really signing? The loan commitment.
Yeah. Here's your student loan.
It was a bank statement.
Because it's not a full ride. Here's what you have to pay. But it was kind of the beginning, so I didn't grow up with that. I don't know if I know it was a really big deal for a while. It makes me wonder. Mm-hmm.
So have you guys started that process? Because
that was my next
she's only
question.
a
Is she
freshman.
thinking, well, knowing how Ava thinks, she thinks 10 steps ahead.
She thinks 10 steps ahead. So, yes, we have started thinking about that process. You know, of course, they go to the various showcases. And the thoughts have been there. And in being a 2008, most of the kids on her team are sophomores. So,
okay, so Marin's got like half.
Yeah, most of the kids on Ava's team are sophomores. So the process is definitely there. You know, I am trying to have Ava start with being just a fact checker. If this is something you want to do, again, soccer is going to take you so far, but make sure that a school that you're looking at is going to be a school that fits your needs. You're not going to pick something simply for the soccer program, which I think is important. It needs to have the program that you want. It needs to be the size that you want. It needs to have the social that you want, because it is a very long time to be at a school if the rest of it doesn't fall into place. So she is starting to look. You know, she has her ideas of places that she thinks would be really fun.
Close or away? Out of curiosity. A little bit of both. Okay.
We've sat there and at one point told her there's a 5-hour radius if you think that we're going to come watch games. And then
Seriously, I'm not driving 5 hours. Are you crazy?
She's constantly challenging that 5-hour radius.
She's like, how about 5.5 or 6?
She's
How about
like,
7?
Ohio
What's
State is just 2 hours past.
8? If you ask her right now, she'd say, roll tide, roll. And I'm like, Ava,
Oh my God.
relax. No.
That's where she is at the moment?
At the moment.
At the moment. But it's fun.
It's fun.
Have you had any surprises? Like, oh, I didn't know you'd be interested in a school like that yet.
But again, researching.
Okay.
Researching. You know, now Mia, she's going straight to the women's national team, right? She's not even going to high school. She's not even going to high school.
Look out, Alex. She's coming for your spot.
She's not even going to high school. She's going straight.
She's at home signing her NIL deal right now.
She's
got the personality for an NIL deal. You make a lot of money.
Really great confidence that Tim and I love.
The other question I have before I forget is, being at STL Development Academy, St. Louis Development Academy, have you guys had a chance to work with Stephanie Gabbert?
We have not.
Oh, you guys
we have not.
need
So
to
when I
push
heard
for
that one, and
for
but
sure.
now we're at Lufuse now. So
Oh, dang it, right, you moved.
We're not there anymore. But when we were there, we did not get that chance. So with all the wonderful people that we met over at that program, we did not get that chance.
Yeah, okay. I forgot that you just said that you moved. Because it was just the fall then that you did?
We moved just in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so, you know, that time that Ava was in that trapped period. So she played games, you know, with the GA group over there while also playing with her team. The trap season is that weird, interesting season for them.
It is so weird.
So she got a lot of the great perks of working with a variety of different people over there, but no, never Stephanie.
So, you know, I never let it end. I hear the music. Is it our music or is it this music here? It's
Overhead.
theirs? Oh, I thought it was you doing it.
No,
So I was going to say, you know, I like you. I think we're the same. We're still learning. Like, I certainly haven't figured it out. I'm just on the cusp because Marin is only a freshman, and I'm watching what the other sophomore parents are doing, but I don't really know. But obviously, you've got Tyler and you've got Mia, who get a different version of the first.
Absolutely.
The first soccer parent is a different version than by the time I get to Harper. I'm like, did you eat? Are you good?
And even
Like,
as a
whatever.
even as a coach, it's a different. It's a different. My mentality of life.
So how
has
has that
changed.
changed out of curiosity? Like whether it's parents or coaching from Ava, our guinea pig kids, to when we get to the last ones who are a little bit more feral.
So, shout out to my 5th grade girls basketball
Yeah.
team. Great group of girls. But my mentality has changed as I took it from Ava's. And basketball has been my joy to coach. It has been something like that passion that as I was a player and moving on. But for basketball, my mentality has changed because it went from at the beginning teaching the skill, teaching how to play the game, the fundamentals of the game. And as we moved on, I've realized there's so much more to teach as you are playing. Because I can teach you how to dribble. I can teach you how to shoot. I can't teach your vision. I can't teach you to learn how to handle the uncontrollables. Those are things that you're going to have to learn. And I can't teach you to be aggressive. I can't teach you to all those other things. So that is something that we have to work with as a group. And that was never something I thought about with Ava. I thought that with Ava, coaching her, you taught the fundamentals. And that would make you a good player.
Do all the skills and
Do
you will be
all
good.
the skills.
Right. All right. Sure.
Do the dribble ups. Do all of those other things that were going to make you a good fundamental player. But it was later on when you see the other aspects of the game kick in that you realize that I can't just teach this one aspect of the game. And so overall, you start working on visioning, the visualization of the game as I coach and as I started to teach and as I started working with my kids more, making sure that it wasn't just they were fundamentally sound, but making sure they had those other elements.
Let me ask you this, because International Women's Day, right? I want to get your opinion on the dreaded but, and I'm going to mention Caitlin Clark, and you I think you probably know where I'm going with this, because here you have a player that she broke
Broke all the records.
She's
The beast.
Yep.
the GOAT, right? Whatever you want to say. But when you listen to pundits, it's the but she hasn't won. Yeah, but there's no national championship. Yeah, all of these things. As a mom, as an ex-athlete, as a coach with daughters, when you hear that kind of narrative, does it light you up? Do you get frustrated, or you're like, yeah, whatever? How do you handle that, specifically internalizing it like within your own head, but then how do you communicate what's going on, what that language really means to your daughters?
Oh, absolutely, you get that. As being the head coach for a basketball team, my assistant coaches are 2 men. We are a wonderful team, but every time the ref comes to them to talk about the pre-game thing.
You teed her up.
Every time. And every time,
Did you bring the snacks, Betsy?
I'm telling you, like every time. And so, the other aspect of it is that they'll say, oh, you got that coach, the intense one, the crazy one.
I know.
Now, would I be called crazy and intense if I was a guy?
No, you'd be motivated.
I would be motivated,
You'd be into
and
it.
I'm into the game.
Yeah.
So, we always try to make sure our kids know the boundaries.
We catch guys our age, by the way, doing that. I've questioned both your husband and his brother. There was a particular female coach, and they'd be like, "She's just intense." I'm like, "She's no different from you two, you dummies. Like,
No,
she's no
and-
different." And we catch it in even the most, I would say, girl dads. I think if you catch your speak, you'll catch it in there sometimes. We'll do it also. Like,
And I think
they're so competitive.
that
Why
Tim
not?
growing up, it was him and his brother.
Sure.
Boys. He has become the best girl dad advocator there is, because boundaries are only things that people put there.
Yeah.
They could be moved. So that is something that I know both of us, we try and talk about that all the time. Just because you're a girl and people want to say this is the guy record, you're able to surpass that. There is nothing that stops
You are shooting.
them except for you
Or whatever that is.
You're you.
Yeah.
Past that. And so, yes, we sit there and try to tell the girls, and Ty as well, the guy as well.
I was
that
going there next.
I'm sorry, but when your sister takes you out on the basketball court and shoots over you, don't make it seem like there's an excuse behind it. And same with you, Mia. If he beats you in that mile race, don't make it because, well, he's a guy. No.
Right.
No, push to be better. And that's,
We'll celebrate the athlete.
Celebrate the athlete.
Celebrate the achievement, the athlete. And I think that's somewhere, for me anyway, and I was talking with Megan McCormick at she was in the women's panel with me, and then she was in the booth recently, and she, so I kind of posed the question of, are we ever at the moment of zen when it just doesn't matter anymore? When it's just like, Caitlin Clark is the lead scorer, or whatever that looks like, not for a girl, but a girl. But this, but that. When Megan McCormick is just another, it's Louise Swisher is this coach, and Dave Critchley is this coach, and Megan McCormick is this coach. Not like, and the first one, aren't we working for that one day when it's so normalized that not only can Harper walk around with, well, not anymore because Nico Gioacchini's not there, baby. You got to pick a new guy. I know you should really like Nico, but that Liam, who was like, would you get me like a Sophia Smith jersey if I asked for it? And I remember thinking inside, first of all, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And secondly, Jesus is going to be made fun of if he wears it at school because it just hasn't been the same. Can we just admire the athlete? He's like, well, she does this, and she does this, and she does this. And I'm like, I love you. I hope we're there one day. That
Well,
would be
I
cool.
mean, we were, to a degree, I mean, from a macro scale, we were kind of poking that bear a little bit with Taylor Swift and the
Little
NFL.
bit. You're right. Good
You-
point.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's okay if it's a man, but
and clearly she's not playing, but it pushed the boundary of the machismo aspect of NFL and, the fandom and like, oh, okay, well, there's this other side of the coin
Yeah.
that isn't the sport itself, but it's really just, it's okay for everybody to be engaged with it.
Yeah.
Like
and
baby
be
steps.
enjoying it, and it doesn't have to be so. You know, Betsy, having both. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. You have a boy and 2 girls. It's. You can't get fixated on one side of it, right?
Correct.
Like there are definitely times where I'm harping on the pro girl for sure, but not to. I don't want to also minimize my boys or make them pay for the sins of the past that they have no part in, but have every part, and we all do, in changing that and making it better for the future. And that means, when you're wrestling your sister, don't go easy, buddy.
nope, don't go easy. Give it to her hard.
Did you have fun today?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I expect a full Teamsnap update.
Brought to
I'll
you
put you on
by
a
the
text
lovely
string with
folks at
JB.
Mellow Mushroom.
Look, bang.
Bang.
You should just do all the reads for
let's
us.
get her one more pint. One more pint on Mellow Mushroom.
So another just awesome, and it just for everybody's record, occasionally she's very soft-spoken here and very professional sounding. You, Betsy, but on a sideline of Betsy's like, "Move it, Ava!"
I will often yell out, "Come on, go Ava!" And then I realize Ava's clear across the field.
Now you're
so
gonna
it's
now,
always encouraging.
Now you're gonna start yelling, "Quit sitting in your shit!"
I don't know about that one quite yet. It hasn't caught. It might.
I'm sorry, I don't know where it came from today,
It might.
but I'm going to use it later today.
All right, time to boogie.
Another Mushroom Sunset Hills. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
real quick, I want to get you guys' opinion on this one. Do you know this one?
Oh yes, hell yes.
Are you into
Yeah,
it?
B, do it. Let's
Bring
go.
on the new genre.
If Taylor can cross, you can cross too. Let's go. Maybe you'll actually give country people. I was a country dancer. Maybe you'll give us some rhythm.
We should do an episode out at Stovall's Grove.
I used to line dance and everything, baby. Can you
that'd be
imagine doing
great.
that to B's music? Yes.
Would be
Thanks
fun.
for joining us. Like, share, review, follow. Go check out Soccer Mom Sunday on all the
Whatever.
face,
Turn the music
tweet,
up.
all that.
Face tweet.
We're on our way out. Bye-bye.